what drew you to this story and what made you want to bring it to the big screen?
Well, some of it's cultural because when I read the book, my family didn't come from Appalachia or the Rust Belt, but from Oklahoma, rural Oklahoma, small town and agricultural Oklahoma, and there's just a lot that felt familiar to me in sort of the family, the attitudes, the spirit, things that I really loved, some foibles, uh, and and so I was interested in that. I felt I kind of related to the cadences and the spirit and nature of those characters. But more importantly, I was interested in the complexity of the family and the combination of both the specifics of their particular struggle, this kind of gauntlet that they were going through. Again, it's not universal. It's very specific to the JD's family, but also the universal common, relatable aspects. And in fact, they're sort of one and the same. And I felt like that at any point that we can sort of understand and look at things with a perspective of shared humanity, that there's a value in that. And I found that in this story.
Yeah, these characters are so colorful. And as you were creating this movie, was there anything that particularly surprised or inspired you?
Well, Mamaw is just an amazing figure, and she's colorful, she's flawed, she's hilarious, and I feel that she was truly heroic. I think that at a time when she was not at her best physically, and she could have checked out, and everyone would have understood that she had paid her dues in that family, and she really rose to the occasion in a way that changed, I think, the history of the family in a really significant way. And so
Mhm.
it's not the kind of stuff that would ever make the nightly news, but it's the kind of stuff that makes a difference in families, all over the world. And so, yeah, she's culturally specific. Those you know who are from the region will recognize her spirit and her nature. That's great. But there are versions of Mamaw and people like that who make those kinds of powerful decisions, to make a difference in the life of somebody that they care about, all over the world.
Yeah. And I think this movie, and you did such a good job showing this, it really drives home the importance of family and loving the people right in front of you well.
It does recognize that, in certain parts of our country, people who are assumed to be either all right or who we just don't really think about, that they're facing some real economic hardship, and that the particulars of their region, are traumatizing, and that creates all kinds of problems, and that we need to you have to recognize it first before you can start finding the solutions. The one thing that I like about it is that, yes, while JD and anyone who is going to move beyond the sort of the baggage of their environment, or their family patterns of dysfunction, they're going to have to make a decision and take some agency in that. But if I have one frustration, sometimes people think this is that both the book and the movie is a pull yourself up by the bootstrap story. JD doesn't feel that way, and I don't feel that way. It's really about the women in his life, especially Mamaw, but also his sister Lindsay, also the woman he fell in love with at school, Usha, who he ultimately married, is now the mother of two kids, and even his troubled mother at key times, giving him the support that he needed, giving him the guidance that he needed to be in a position to even make a kind of choice, and so I really appreciate that about their story and their willingness to share it with all of us. And it was a real uh, interesting creative challenge, but something I was grateful to take on. And I hope people can see it and find something of themselves in it, and maybe view things a little differently than they had before they watched the film.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ron, thank you so much for this movie and for doing such justice to the book that so many people love.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.